Do you feel like the Catholics that you were interacting with were too accepting?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they did kind of err on that.
Yes. But I also don't know. I can't say that at the time, if they hadn't been that way, would I have listened to them?
Okay. So you're not sure.
I'm
they
not
were
sure.
Too accepting. Yeah.
I mean, I would like to think that I would have responded well to the truth in love, but I also know how aggressively sure I was of my own understanding of things, and I don't know that anyone could have talked me out of that.
There's situations where, a Catholic parent has a bunch of kids, and one of them is either said they have same-sex attraction, or the parent starts to suspect that might be coming up, right? What advice do you give that parent?
Well, I would tell them, first of all, there's courage and there's encourage. Encourage is for family members, friends, loved ones, people experiencing same-sex attraction. So I would say if they have that suspicion, the first thing I would encourage them to do is go to the website. When you go to the website, there's specific tabs, whether you're someone experiencing it, a loved one, clergy. So you click on the tab for people that are a loved one or a parent of someone. And they are very good, because they've been doing this for 30 years, I believe, at guiding you in the best way to approach your child and to have some sort of impact without, driving them away or making them pull away from you. I mean, everyone I know is different. I have a very close friend, who came back to the church in part because of Father Martin, who obviously is encouraging people to accept this as their identity. Thankfully, my friend realized that was not the correct path.
By the way, we're referring to James Martin, Jesuit, right. Famous kind of political social commentator. Yeah.
So his way worked for my housemate. I wanted to hear the truth. I didn't want anyone telling me you're fine the way you are, because I already knew inside that this was not working for me. This is not my identity. So Father Martin, for me, would have had the opposite effect. So it's very difficult to say to a parent what you have to know your child. You have to know what they can handle and what they can't. And it also depends on you having a relationship with them. You just have to be careful that you don't bash them over the head with the truth, because it does not work.
That's great. I love that as a kind of good piece of life advice. Bashing over the head with the truth is not the best strategy.
No, it feels really good sometimes. It does.
For the basher.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly. Right. But yeah, my mother asked me that once in reference to my YouTube videos. She said, "Are you trying to change people's minds, or are you just trying to smash them?" And I said, "I'm just trying to smash them." She said, "Okay, well, then you're doing a good job." But
help us understand what you think is like a healthy mother disposition.
The image that I've had in my prayer recently, I have an image of Mary here holding Jesus, and she's holding him very close to her, and she has her hand under his back, and she kind of has her mantle around him. Then I have another statue of Saint Joseph, and he's kind of holding Jesus like this, where he's holding him, but he's exposed. That's what I think is supposed to happen. I think that the mother is supposed to have that role with her child at a certain point where it's more protective and keeping the child safe. And then there's a point where it's supposed to transition into letting the child experience things, deal with things that are difficult, maybe things that are unpleasant. But my mother always took me out of things that I was uncomfortable with. I was not made to just deal with it. And my father told her at a certain point that Garrett's going to have problems as he gets older if you don't let him deal with it. If he says he's going to learn to play the piano and he decides he doesn't like it, he needs to finish it, Do
you remember your dad saying that, or is that something you heard later on when talking to your parents?
Well, because what happened is I went to my mother after a session in therapy and I said, "I just have a general question for you." And she said, "What?" And I said, "Did you ever make me finish anything as a child?" And she didn't say anything. And I said, "Hello?" And she started crying. And I said, "Why are you crying?" And she said what I just said. She said, "Your father used to tell me if I didn't stop taking you out of everything, you were going to have problems. And now here you are telling me exactly what he said." And I said, "I'm not blaming you. and I'm not mad at you, but I need to know that I'm not a bum, that it's not that I just was born unable to deal with things. It's that I was not taught to, and that's fine. Now I have to fix that. So don't feel guilty. Guilty doesn't do you any good. But it helped that at least she acknowledged her mistake. And we all make mistakes. No one is saying that everything that happens, the way we're raised, makes us gay. I'm not saying that, at least. I'm very aware that my brother and I were raised in the same house by the same parents, and my brother has a wife and 2 children. I had certain sensitivities. There were certain things going on at school. There were certain things I was exposed to. All of that helps form you.